Hello everyone, it is I, the Golden Scouta, bringing you another Dragon Ball What If discussion, and this wouldn't be a Dragon Ball What If discussion if it was not for Mark from Dragon Ball Dad being here. Mark, how are you doing today?
Hey everyone, great to be back. Been a while since we got our What If on, so I'm really happy to be here and hope you enjoy this one.
Yeah, and this What If might sound a little bit more simple on the surface, but there's a lot more to it, and we'll get into that right now. So, what if Cell did not hold the Cell games and he decided to go on his rampage of going to go see everyone's faces twist in fear, like how he said to Trunks? So there's one simple way that this what if can come about. And so we know that Trunks lost against Cell, and Cell was just like, where is Goku? Like, what is he doing? Like, where is he at? And Trunks was just saying like, oh, Goku is training to defeat you. He's going to succeed where I failed. And that is what gave Cell the idea for the Cell games. So in this what if, Trunks stays silent, and instead of Cell getting the answer from Trunks that Goku is training, he instead kills Trunks right there on the spot because he remains silent and thus doesn't get the idea for the Cell games. Obviously we saw that Kuderen fed Vegeta Sensu, and knowing Vegeta, he would probably go right back there and challenge Cell and get killed. And especially if Vegeta sensed Trunks dying, we might get that Rage Out Vegeta moment sooner, but the thing is that Vegeta would undoubtedly die in this situation. So, just going off of that, what are your first thoughts about this what if, Mark?
Yeah, looking at what you just said, I completely agree with how that would play out. Cell, although intrigued by Trunks' increased strength and Vegeta's, if he didn't learn about Goku training, he would just be bored and put him down right there with ease. We saw how much stronger he is. Vegeta sensing that, he knew Trunks couldn't get the victory with that Super Saiyan form. He knew its limitations, so Vegeta, although less powerful than Trunks, was an all-round better fighter and a bigger threat to Cell than Trunks actually was. So I think Vegeta would be really enraged after spending that time training with Trunks and getting to know him. And as you say, it would be reminiscent to the time Trunks dies in the canon. So we would see an angry Vegeta without the boost of Gohan being there to save him, basically. So Vegeta in this case would have a Zenkai boost, but it wouldn't be enough to close the gap between him and Cell, because even an extra day in the hyperbolic time chamber didn't do that. And I think Cell this time around, rather than playing with Vegeta as he does in the original fight between the pair, I think he would just put Vegeta down quickly and kind of horrify Krillin, whose reaction at this point would be pretty key. Does he fight, which would be a bad idea because Cell would put him down? Does he run straight to where Goku's at with the possibility of Cell following him? Or does he use something like the Solar Flare to kind of flee and mask it? And I think that would be the wise choice, and something that we've seen Krillin do a lot of times, even against Cell actually, when Cell was in his imperfect form. So I think that would really work to me to kind of get this onto the next stage of the story, where we've lost Vegeta and Trunks, two of the stronger guys. Goku and Gohan are still training, unaware of this, and everybody's probably petrified watching from the lookout. So now it's leaving Cell to kind of make the next move, wondering where Krillin's got to. Because remember, he does not know the location that the guys are currently at, the Z-Fighters. And you kind of alluded to something that's kind of in Cell's DNA, him having Piccolo's genes, who was a descendant of Piccolo Daimao. So I kind of loved your idea of how Cell would act in this situation, if you want to go into that.
Honestly, at this point, I think that Cell would probably go over to Kame house and probably would go over to Goku's house and would find out that nobody's there, because obviously everyone has evacuated over to the Heavenly Realm, and Cell does not know where the Heavenly Realm is because Dr. Gero never actually got that kind of information. Otherwise, 17 or 18 would have gone there. So I'd probably say after going to those two places and finding out that they're not there, he might go on to the television station and wide broadcast himself and be like, hey guys, I'm taking over your planet now and I can't wait to kill you guys, and I'm gonna go over to the capital of the city and not really capital of the city, but just basically like the king of Earth, like where he lives, and kind of take over it like how Piccolo Daimao did. So at this point, I just think that Cell would kind of go on his killing spree, just because like that's what he wanted to do. He said that he wanted to have the ultimate fun, and that the ultimate fun to him was basically just killing people and watching them like cower in fear and all that. It's very reminiscent of the future artificial humans, because that's pretty much how Cell acts, but he's even more, I guess, sophisticated in ways. So I would say that the thing is that whenever Goku and Gohan came out, like they kind of had surprised looks on their faces, because they're like, huh, everyone's back here and Cell is still alive. I can feel his ki. I think that Goku and Gohan coming out would be a lot different, because Goku would not sense Vegeta or Trunks, and he would know that they're dead at that point, especially whenever Kuderen actually relays that news to them. So yeah, we definitely would get different reactions from Goku coming out of the time chamber, and maybe they might even go in another time. Like Goku has already said like once before, like in the future series, like in the Buu arc, like, oh, like don't use the next wish on anything, because we're gonna use that to revive everyone after everything is kind of said and done. So I mean, yeah, Goku might end up pulling a Piccolo, like saying like, sorry humans, like forgive me, like I have to use you guys to buy time. And so maybe him and Gohan would go in the time chamber again. But like you were saying, I don't think that their training in Super Saiyan would actually be enough to top Cell at all, honestly.
Yeah, when I look at the perfect setup for that would be if Goku went to see Korin to show his strength off, and Korin said, look, it's not enough yet, and that would kind of justify Goku going back in and trying to kind of bring out the potential he saw in Gohan, because he saw Gohan have more potential than he himself, and saw him as the guy who could take down Cell. But given there's no tournament, and this is a world at stake kind of event instantly, he would have to take that extra day training and not rush straight in, although Goku would pretty much be dying to get some revenge here. I mean, Vegeta and Trunks falling would have a big impact on him, and the reaction of the likes of Bulma, who would be up there when he leaves the Room of Spirit and Time, would be kind of catastrophic, because she's just lost her husband and son. So there would be a lot more urgency, I think, in this than there was in the original canon, in terms of the characters wanting revenge. The likes of Goku being more angry. I mean, I don't know if Goku would be as willing to be the one to kind of step down. You know how in the canon he steps down to leave it to Gohan? I don't know if with the rage there, he'd be in that much of control, because it would definitely impact on him. And Gohan maybe wouldn't need the motivation of the android being destroyed, as he did originally after losing people he's close to. Not so much Vegeta for Gohan, but more so Trunks, because those two do get on well. So I kind of see this being very impactful in our two strongest characters, and the rest of the group would just be in hope that these two can do something. I don't see anybody else coming up with any kind of plans that could impact on Cell at this point.
Yeah, and especially with number 16, he was left at that island, and he couldn't fly, so I would probably say that he would be left to pretty much kind of die there, like he would kind of shut down just because he's so damaged, and his body might not ever be found. So, I mean, at this point, I think that we might get some really interesting elements with Cell, kind of a very good throwback to whenever he was in his first form, whenever he was killing people up close and personal by absorbing them. I think that Cell in this case might have that chance to kind of go back to that whole vileness that he had before him, like that very villainous vileness that he had towards him, because one thing is that semi-perfect Cell and perfect Cell, whenever they killed humans, it was only with ki blasts, and even though like they mass genocided people, which is actually way more impactful than just like killing like a few people, in my opinion, seeing Cell up and close with those people, killing them all painfully and ruthlessly, like that makes him way more of a villain than just like ki blasting them and them just instantly dying. So I think that we could also get this whole thing of Cell actually going into an existential crisis, because one of the things is that Cell had this Cell Games to look forward to test his perfect body, so to say. So, I mean, Cell just killing people and calling that the ultimate fun, I would say that probably Cell would kind of use that whole killing thing and kind of realize, like, like, I don't know if this is, like, what my life purpose should be. Maybe I should test out my body. And so I would probably view that whole thing of him killing people as a way of him drawing out Goku. Like, him saying, like, well, if I kill enough people, Goku is eventually bound to show up. And so I guess we can get to the point where Goku shows up, or unless if you have anything to add on to that whole thing of if you have anything to add to that whole thing of Cell killing people again.
I completely agree. I can see Cell getting kind of in a state of depression over the lack of a challenge, because he does have these Saiyan cells that drive the will for a challenge, the will for a fight. We see that with the whole Cell games in general. He wants to bring the best out of Gohan before, instead of just killing him when he had the chance. So I do agree that he would be seeking Goku out of maybe pure boredom, instead of just enjoying ruling the world. I don't know what Cell would get out of ruling the world, really, but Piccolo got something out of it, I guess. So yeah, let's move on to the arrival of Goku and Gohan in tow. Or do you think there's a possibility that Goku maybe could instant transmission straight to Cell, or is it going to be a group journey to reach Cell?
I think it would be just an instantaneous movement. Like, he would probably just grab Gohan and go over to their location. And, well, not really their location, but to Cell's location. And at this point, I would probably see that a fitting moment for them to come in is whenever Cell is in the middle of his killing spree and he's about to land a finishing blow on someone. And that's where, like, either Goku or Gohan saves the person that he was going to kill. I mean, I see that as a very good entry to that.
Yeah, that's a typical Goku entry as well. Kind of last minute, the man moves out the way, like we see when he saves Gohan against Nappa. That kind of scene works absolutely perfectly for Goku's famous entries into the battlefield, which are always one of the big pops in Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I mean, this would just be one of those throwbacks too. And just the way I see it starting out is just Goku being the one to challenge Cell first and telling Gohan to stand back and that he's going to finish him. But I would say that instead of Goku, like, having this whole thing of where, like, he thinks that Gohan is going to be the one to take down Cell, I would say that Goku mostly has Gohan as, like, a backup plan in case if he doesn't defeat Cell. Like, I mean, I kind of understand that's kind of the way it was in the original series, but it really did set up the whole fact that Goku was planning on Gohan defeating Cell, especially what he said about Karin.
Yeah, when he went and tested his power, Goku was aware that Gohan had this extra level that even Gohan wasn't aware of. In the original series, he fights first specifically for Gohan to see his moves, more so than anything, to give Gohan a bit of an advantage, and he's that confident in Gohan he heals Cell. I think in this situation, though, with the damage Cell has done, and Goku being angry, I think regardless of the outcome of the fight, there wouldn't be any giving Cell a senzu bean. This would be an angry, riled up Goku who's really going in there for the kill rather than kind of the enjoyment of the fight, which we don't get to see very often from Goku.
Yeah, exactly, and I could see Goku actually antagonizing Cell even more than Frieza. Because one thing about Frieza, even though he is an evil guy, like, Frieza does his things to build up his empire. Like, Cell, at this point, is only doing it to have fun and to be cruel. And because, I mean, yeah, Frieza does stuff to be cruel, but it's not as overtly done as, like, what Cell would be doing in this situation, because, yeah, Frieza does kill people just because, but, like, Cell has a lot of Frieza in him. I mean, he has his cells, he has King Cold cells, and just the way that Cell is so merciless and just kind of, I don't know. Like, I think that the way he is in his first form kind of didn't really transition so well into his perfect form. Like, in a way, like, he seemed more evil in his imperfect form. And so, perfect Cell kind of being able to do these evil actions again, in a way, if that makes sense to me, I think it would make Goku antagonize Cell more and kind of, like, again, like what you said, not give Cell that senzu.
Yeah, how do you see the fight going? I mean, I still think Goku would kind of surprise Cell with his power. Maybe the instant transmission Kamehameha would have the same kind of blow, but when Cell regenerates, Goku's tired. I still can't see Goku getting the victory here, and it would be a death. There's no give up here. I mean, I don't see Goku being killed easily, but he is going to go down eventually.
Yeah, I see the same thing. I see basically like the same fight play out like how we saw, but whenever Goku is huffing and puffing, I would say that Cell would be like, it's been a fun fight, Goku, but it has to end now, and just death beams him in the chest. And then that's whenever Gohan kind of comes in and it's just like, Dad, no! And Goku's just like Gohan, you have to take this over from here. Like, you have to be strong, and kind of, I would say, like, Goku could deliver even a more impassioned speech than number 16 did in this instance. And I don't know, like, Cell not taking Gohan seriously is also very plausible to why Cell wouldn't just end it right then and there. Like Cell might be taking joy in Gohan's suffering, and Cell at this point might be like, oh, well, after your dad's dead, it's time for you, kid. And that's whenever Gohan turns into a Super Saiyan 2, and I would honestly say at this point that Gohan would not have any mercy. Like, we wouldn't see that arrogant Gohan, because it's not just like his friends getting hurt and some nameless artificial human like getting killed in front of him. It's his father getting killed, and what he did to Raditz way back in the day, and what he did to Piccolo way back in the, or no, against Piccolo, but what he did against Frieza back in the day, like, I see this very same kind of rage outburst happening where Gohan is just like, F this, I'm just going to fire a full power Kamehameha at Cell, and I would say that would be what vaporizes him.
Yeah, I completely love that idea, because in this situation, Gohan is definitely going to be pushed over the edge. Seeing his dad die like that after they've really bonded, and well, they're close. They're a really close pair anyway. I know they have a lot of differences, but you can see the love there. You can see the impact on something happening to Goku always has on Gohan, as you've just said. But I think in this situation, Gohan would maybe even just put Cell down instantly. I don't even know if there'd be much of a fight here. The question is kind of, after Gohan's got the victory, is how does this mess kind of resolve itself? I mean, there's people who wish back, there's people who may not want to come back, there's plenty still to do here. So how do you see the wishing process going? Does Goku want to come back in this different timeline? Is he going to stay on the other side for the same reasons? I mean, I don't see a reason for Goku to change his mind and want to come back to life. He'd probably even more so trust Gohan to take over from him after seeing Gohan do it the right way against Cell, rather than have this hesitation that nearly cost everybody their lives.
Yeah, and there's two different scenarios, and one I have actually done a video on. So, if this fight takes place in a city hub area where there's witnesses, there's cameras, or anything like that, they would see Gohan kill Cell, and Gohan would get the credit for killing Cell at that point. And so I made a video on that about what if Gohan got the credit for killing Cell. I did that with MJXTV, and if you guys want to see that, just check out the What If playlist I'm going to be linking at the end of this video. And so I would say the more interesting one, and probably the one we're going to be continuing after this, is if whenever Cell was rampaging and killing people before Goku and Gohan got there, I would say I would probably say that Goku would use a Ki against Cell, like how Future Trunks did against Future Cell, to not destroy the city or kill any other people, and kind of like boom them over to a barren wasteland, so nobody would know who killed Cell. The difference is that Mr. Satan would not get the credit in this situation, and maybe Vegeta in this instance would choose to stay dead and train with Goku. Because I see kind of the same thing happening, like, even though it doesn't make too much sense, like, why Goku would stay dead, because, like, hey, like, Goku, like, the whole, like, premise of this arc was, like, a world without Goku is going to turn into a nightmare, and so Goku's just like, you know what, like, everyone's been after me and all this kind of stuff, and even though it doesn't make sense for me not to want to come back to life, even though that me being dead is what caused, like, this apocalypse, I still think that Goku would choose to stay dead, and I guess in this situation, maybe some strings could be pulled in the afterlife where Vegeta could keep his own body. And I don't know. I think that this is a really good setup for a part 2.
Oh yeah, well I think if Vegeta was able to keep his body, he would probably prefer to stay dead to have that kind of rivalry and training partner with Goku. And it does open up the possibility of a big fan favourite happening, and that would be Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, with him training in the other world with Goku. But you know, that would be for the next What If, but it's definitely a possibility.
Well, do you have anything else to add to this before we end the discussion video? Because I think we've gotten a good What If on our hands here.
No, I think that went pretty well. I just hope everyone enjoyed it.
Alright. Yeah, guys, as you guys heard, Mark from Dragon Ball Dad does have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to be linking that in the description section below. And guys, the next part will be pretty much like a What If Vegeta died against Cell. And that's pretty much the setup for the next video. So anyways, guys, let us know what you thought of this What If for today. I hope that any of you who are at KamehaCon had a good time or is having a good time. I'm sure that any of you who are listening to this after is more of like, did you have a good time? I hope you did. But anyways, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.